Well, what's up, guys? It's Cassie and Sara, and today we're talking about the chase of O.J. Simpson.
So if you like watching murder mysteries, make sure you hit that subscribe button and keep on watching. The O.J. Simpson murder was a criminal trial held in Los Angeles County Superior Court in which former National Football League player, broadcaster, and actor O.J. Simpson was tried for the murders of his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman, who were stabbed to death outside Brown's condominium in the Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles on the night of June 12, 1994. Brown's neighbors testified that they heard profuse barking coming from outside throughout the night, beginning around 10:15 p.m. Around 10:55 p.m., a dog walker who lived a few blocks away from Brown came across Brown's dog barking in the street outside her home. The dog, whose legs were covered in blood, followed the man home. He tried to walk the dog back to where he found it, but the dog resisted. Later on, he left the dog with a neighboring couple who offered to keep the dog overnight. As the dog was agitated, the couple decided to walk it back to where it had been found. Around midnight, as they reached the area where the dog had been found, the dog stopped outside Brown's home and the couple saw Brown's body laying outside the house. Police called to the scene found Goldman's body near Brown's. The front door to Brown's condominium was open when the bodies were found, but there were no signs that anyone had entered the building by breaking in or otherwise. Brown's body was lying face down and barefoot at the bottom of the stairs leading to the door. The walkway leading to the stairs was covered in blood, but the soles of Brown's feet were clean. Based on this evidence, investigators concluded that she was the first person to be killed and the intended target. She had been stabbed multiple times in the head and neck, but there were few defensive wounds on her hands, implying a short struggle to investigators. The final wound inflicted ran deep into her neck, severing her carotid artery. A large bruise in the center of her upper back indicated to investigators that after killing Goldman, the assailant returned to Brown's body, stood on her back, pulled her head back by her hair, and slit her throat. Her larynx could be seen through the gaping wound in her neck, and vertebrae C3 was incised. Brown's head barely remained attached to her body. Goldman's body laid nearby, close to a tree and the fence. He had been stabbed multiple times in the body and neck, but there were relatively few defensive wounds on his hands, signifying a short struggle to investigators. Forensic evidence from the Los Angeles County coroner alleged that the assailant stabbed Goldman with one hand while holding him in a chokehold. Near Goldman's body were a blue knit cap, a left-hand extra-large light leather glove, and the envelope containing the glasses that Goldman was returning. A trail of the assailant's bloody shoe print ran through the back gate. To the left of some of the prints were drops of blood from the assailant, who was apparently bleeding from the left hand. Measuring the distance between the prints indicated that the assailant had walked rather than running away from the scene.
Kind of a lot.
Yeah, that's like a lot to
take in.
Yeah.
I feel like the murders were a little bit angry.
Oh, most definitely.
It wasn't just, I stabbed them.
He stabbed Goldman multiple times. First they killed Brown.
Yeah.
Then went to Goldman, I'm gonna assume, and then back and slit her throat. They went over.
Yeah. That's anger. You know what I mean? If it was just somebody jumping them or whatever, it would have just been probably a couple stab wounds or whatever. But this was no, let me just take my time, go back and forth. Yeah. And then the person walked away.
Her head was barely attached to her body.
That's some serious strength and anger. Yeah. Which I think is why, so obviously we read in the very beginning that OJ is the prime suspect, but he was NFL, right?
Yeah, NFL player.
Which means he's very strong. Sort of rip someone's head back and just...
I would assume, strong and kind of beefy.
Yeah, and able to do that. So much damage.
Yeah.
Dang.
At 5 p.m., Robert Kardashian and one of his defense lawyers read Simpson's public letter. In the letter, Simpson sent greetings to 24 friends and wrote, "First, everyone understand I had nothing to do with Nicole's murder." He described the fights with Brown and their decision not to reconcile their relationship and asked the media as a last wish not to bother his children. He wrote to his then-girlfriend Paula, "I'm sorry, we're not going to have our chance. As I leave, you'll be in my thoughts." It also included, "I can't go on," and an apology to the Goldman family. The letter concluded, "Don't feel sorry for me. I have had a great life, great friends. Please think of the real O.J. and not this lost person." Most interpreted this as a suicide note. At 5:51 p.m., Simpson reportedly called 911. This call was traced to the Santa Ana Freeway near Lake Forest. At around 6:20 p.m., a motorist in Orange County notified California Highway Patrol after seeing someone believed to be Simpson riding in a Bronco on the I-5 freeway heading north. The police tracked calls placed by Simpson on his cell phone. At 6:45 p.m., a police officer saw the Bronco heading north on Interstate 405. When she caught up to it, Cowlings yelled out that Simpson was in the back seat of the vehicle and was pointing a gun at his own head. The officer backed off with up to 20 police cars following her in the chase. More than 9 news helicopters eventually joined the pursuit. The chase was so long that one helicopter ran out of fuel. Simpson eventually demanded to talk to his mother. The chase came to a close when the pair pulled up to Simpson's Brentwood estate.
I already had him like as a suspect in
Yeah.
mind, like right off the bat because of his
connection to
yeah
Brown and like the issues that they've had.
Yeah. So he was like their sole suspect. Anyways, so Simpson apparently wrote a letter, kind of, they thought it to be like a suicide note because he was kind of saying goodbye, sort of, and like what to do.
I've had a good life and
which
stuff
is
like
like
that.
a little suspicious. Like, why would you do that unless you actually committed the
yeah.
crime and knew you were gonna be caught?
I mean, unless like maybe he was like, there's no way they're gonna find me like not guilty. So
yeah, so maybe he thought he had no chance. So he's like,
Yeah.
might as well take myself out now. High speed chase.
Okay,
They really weren't going that fast.
The turtle paced high speed chase.
Yeah, so we didn't mention this in here, but they really weren't going
That
fast for like a high speed chase, which everyone was like,
It was like 30,
what, strange.
35
Yeah, they were
miles
going
per hour.
pretty slow. Yeah. So we mentioned Cowling. He was Simpson's friend. Well, I think he was also an NFL player, but he was driving the Bronco.
Yeah.
Like they don't think that he helped commit the crime necessarily. He was just like,
See, I like even
of
like
it.
with the research, I was kind of still like a little dicey. I was like,
yeah,
I'm like, what's his position? Is he just like
just
there?
driving.
Did he help commit the crimes? I'm like,
it was like a huge thing. Like they had the chase like broadcasted.
yeah, I know. I was reading.
Did I just say the right words? They had the chase. Yeah, they had the chase. Out of my brain was like, no. Anyways, yeah. So there was like tons of people chasing them. It was all over the TV.
Yeah, there's like helicopters. Like it said, a helicopter ran out of fuel.
But the chase was going so slow that like.
But it lasted forever though. Apparently,
It was just like funny to me.
like it also said that like bars like stopped serving drinks because everybody just wanted to watch. The trial spanned 11 months from the jury's swearing in on November 9th, 1994. Opening statements were made on January 24th, 1995, and Simpson was acquitted of both counts of murder on October 3rd of the same year. The trial is often characterized as a trial of the century because of its international publicity and has been described as the most publicized criminal trial in history. On June 15, 1995, Christopher Darden surprised Marcia Clark by asking Simpson to try on the gloves found at the crime scene and his home. The prosecution had earlier decided against asking Simpson to try them on because they had been soaked in blood from Simpson, Brown, and Goldman and frozen and unfrozen several times. Instead, they presented a witness who testified that Brown had purchased a pair of those gloves in the same size in 1990 at Bloomingdale's for Simpson along with a receipt and a photo during the trial of Simpson earlier wearing the same type of gloves. The leather gloves appeared too tight for Simpson to put on easily, especially over the latex gloves he wore underneath. Clark claimed that Simpson was acting when he appeared to be struggling to put on the gloves, yet Cochran replied, "I don't think he could act the size of his hands." Darden then told of his concerns that Simpson has arthritis, and we looked at the medication he takes, and some of it is anti-inflammatory, and we were told he has not taken the stuff for a day, and it caused swelling in the joints and inflammation in his hands. Cochran informed the judge the next day that Sean Chapman contacted the Los Angeles County jail doctor who confirmed Simpson was taking his arthritis medication every day and that the jail's medical records verified this. Cochran repeated a quip he used in his closing arguments: "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit."
So they had the glove.
The glove.
It had Brown's DNA on it, Goldman's DNA, and Simpson's. Which, like, okay, so the whole argument was whether or not the glove was, like, his and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, if the person had been cut in the hand, like, and they had the physical blood for it, why didn't they just check his hand and be like, do you got a cut? Or no. They had the glove, it was frozen, unfrozen, so they were like, oh, it's not gonna fit. And then he tried putting it on, and they're like, he's acting. Because he's like, so, yeah, like, I feel like I've seen it, and it looks like he's struggling to put it on. But then they're like, well, he has arthritis, and if he doesn't take his medication, his hands swell up.
So, okay, we'll give him his medication and then try again.
Like, solved. Figured it out.
The prosecution stated they believed the glove shrank from having been soaked in the blood of the victims. Darden then produced a new pair of the same type of gloves which fit Simpson when he tried them on. Simpson was represented by a high-profile defense team, also referred to as the Dream Team, directed by Cochran. While Deputy District Attorneys Marcia Clark, William Hodgman, and Christopher Darden believed they had a strong case against Simpson, Cochran was able to convince the jury that there was reasonable doubt concerning the validity of the state's DNA evidence, which was a relatively new form of evidence in trials at the time. The reasonable doubt theory included evidence that the blood sample had allegedly been mishandled by lab scientists and technicians, and there were questionable circumstances that surround other court exhibits. Cochran and the defense team also alleged other misconduct by the LAPD related to systemic racism and incompetence, in particular, actions and comments of Detective Mark Furman. The trial became historically significant because of the reaction and the verdict. Although the nation observed the same evidence represented at trial, a division along racial lines emerged in observers' opinion of the verdict, which the media dubbed the racial gap. After the trial, Goldman's father filed a civil suit against Simpson. On February 4, 1997, the jury unanimously found Simpson responsible for the deaths of both Goldman and Brown. The Goldman family was awarded compensation and punitive damage totaling $33.5 million, but have received only a small portion of the monetary figure. In 2000, Simpson left California for Florida, one of the few states where personal assets such as homes and pensions cannot be seized to cover liabilities that were incurred in the other states.
Yeah, so he was charged with the murders because, I mean, like, if you really look at it, just the case in general is, like, kind of weird.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like, I get maybe he, like, killed them because he was angry that they were having an affair or that she didn't want to get back together with him or whatever. But then, like, his suicide note is strange. Like, if he didn't do it, and the whole glove thing is just weird. I don't know. Anyways.
So I guess the question to ask is, do you think he did it?
I really wish I could find that paper I wrote in college because I had to say whether or not he did it or didn't do it. And I feel like I said he did do it. Yeah. Because there's a lot of evidence against him.
That's how I feel. I feel like he
it's
did it.
Strange, though.
But it's just like, somebody definitely did tamper with evidence. I'm not quite sure what.
Yeah, like, what happened?
But I think he did do it. It's just, there's so much evidence.
Yeah, there's evidence. But I think what's, like, weird is just that it's just weird. Like, it's not like, oh, like, everything that happened was very, like,
I can't put my finger on it, but yeah.
Yeah, it just feels strange. But I kind of think he did it. Like, the glove basically fit him. I'm pretty sure he had the other one in the car with him on his high-speed chase.
Like, as soon as we give him his arthritis meds, slap that bad boy on.
Yeah. That is the end of the O.J. Simpson case.
We know there's probably something I've most definitely left out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it, a lot of pieces. So let us know down below, like, what we missed, what you think was important that we should have added.
Do you think he did it? Do you think he did not do it?
Do you think that the case was weird? Like, either fishy or like some weird stuff going on.
Some
just
weird bougie,
yeah,
juju
weird stuff.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your post notifications so you get notified every time we post. Social media down below in the description. Like, you know all that jazz. If you've been here for a while, you know. But if you're new, it's all down in the description.
If you're new, hey. If you guys have any cases you want us to look into and do research on and make a video.
Serial killers.
Yeah, or just like mysteries. It might not even have to be like a serial killer. Like something suspicious.
I want something gory.
Okay. We will see you guys next Friday. Peace.